Most of what we've covered up till now has revolved around the time signature of 4/4 or standard time. But I wanted to cover some of the other time signatures that you may come across when you start playing other songs. Now, just before we start, the way that time signatures are shown on written music is by two numbers at the left-hand side of the music. Now, what these show, the bottom number shows that the note value that we're using to work out the time signature, and the upper number, the number of those notes within any given bar of music. So when we're looking at 4/4, what we're actually looking at here is the 4 on the bottom, meaning quarter notes, and the 4 on the top showing that we have 4 of those within a bar of music. So a quarter note, being a note that lasts one beat, means that we have 4 beats in a bar. It's standard time, and pretty much all the time in popular music that's what we're going to come across. But there are a lot of other time signatures that deviate from this. Now, probably the next most common time signature you'll come across is 3/4. And you can work out from that what we have in that is 3 quarter notes per bar. So we lose a beat from the bar. Now this is also known as waltz time, as it's traditionally the time that waltzes are played in. So you get a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 feel. Now there is a variation on this called 6/8. And 6/8, you can work out that time signature is that you have 6/8 notes. But if you do a bit of calculation, that's actually the same time as 3/4. But there is a reason for this. The feel of those two time signatures is subtly different. Whereas the 3/4, we count each beat. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 6/8 is more felt in two sections of 3. So you get a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of feel. And it's a bit more sort of a rolling feel. Strictly speaking, the time is the same, but the feel of the music is different. We can keep going back that way. 2/4 is less common. It's also known as cut time. You can work out that 2 bars of 2/4 would equal a bar of 4/4. I would say that's probably more common in written music, when you're reading music, as the flow of the music is felt slightly differently when it's read in 2/4 rather than in 4/4. But in terms of note values, it sort of just halves the bar length. Now, going the opposite direction, 5/4 is less common in popular music. You'll start seeing this more in sort of jazz styles of music. This adds an extra beat to the bar, so it gives it quite a different feel to it. Probably the most well-known track, the most popular, is a track called Take 5 by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. I'm not going to try and play the melody, but the general feel of it is something along the lines of... So you kind of feel it flows, but it's got a different flow to the standard 4/4. And it's quite interesting time to play in. Now we can start going into much more interesting time signatures. There are wildly different time signatures that you'll find in jazz styles and in progressive styles, and even music that uses various different time signatures within any given piece. It starts getting more complicated. I don't want to get too far into that. One style I do want to look at is 7/8, and this is 7/8 notes within a bar, so you lose half a beat. Now it sounds like it would be really weird, but I want to do sort of a case study, and that's with the Pink Floyd track Money, because I just think it's a bass line that flows really, really well, and it's played in 7/8, and you just don't sort of really notice it when you're listening to the track. I'm going to play through the line, and then we'll do the counting afterwards. That's the basic bass line. There's a few other bits of it, but that's the main riff of it. So it sounds like it just sort of flows quite naturally. But if you count it, you can find out it's in 7/8, and we can count it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, etc. So it's not immediately noticeable, but it is in that odd time signature. Now, if we were going to bring that back into a bar of 4/4 and add that extra half beat back in, it sounds like that would make it just like sound like a standard piece, but it actually feels kind of odd and jagged and doesn't work so well. So I'm going to add in that extra beat, half a beat even, and you can see how it sounds. You can see there it doesn't really flow quite as well. It works, but it's not quite right. And this is case in point that the 7/8 time signature just works for that track. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of different tracks out there that use weird and random time signatures, and I would heartily recommend go out, try, playing some styles in those, and push the limits and see what you can do. Hi guys, so just an appendix to this video. And just been reflecting on what we've been doing with these videos. This is actually the 54th video I've done in this series, and had no idea when I started this out that it would be this many, this would be going on for this long, that I have this much hair by the time we got to this stage. We are now at the stage where this lockdown is easing. Things are starting to get back to normal. We're still pretty restricted on what we can do. But I know that normal life is going to take over, and things are going to get busy again. Certainly, I'm balancing this with a full day job, so in no ways is this priority for me. I'm trying to sort of keep things rolling along, but I want to make sure that I can keep that going. And when I started this out, I had no plan to have this many videos. Though there's still some subjects I want to cover for you guys. I want to do a full strip down, restring, setup of bass, and cover all of that sort of side of things. But firstly, bass strings are expensive, so I'm not going to do that before I really need to change the strings on my bass, which is a little way off yet. So we'll get to that eventually. There are a few more bass lines I want to cover, a few other topics I want to do, but it is going to start getting difficult for me to carry on at this pace, so things might start easing. One thing I do want to do, I have covered all the regular pedals that I use with the bands that I play with, but let's just say I have a few spare pedals on the side that I can go over for you guys, and I've been looking at a way of doing that best so you can get the best sound out of them. And while it's looking a little bit messy at the moment, this is the initial rig I've got up to test pedals for you guys, and hopefully I can do that and do some comparisons and carry that side on. So just as a quick rundown for the end of this video, the Akai, what are they called? Headrush. I've had it for so long and I can't remember what it's called. This is a reasonable delay pedal. It does some tape delay emulation, but what it does do really well is looping. Live looping. It's a really nice, simple, easy to use looper. And what I can do with this is set up a bassline that covers a number of styles and run that through. And if I'm comparing pedals, then I'll be able to know that I'm not, biasing one pedal over the other by playing differently. So loop on there. The Gig Rig Quartermaster. This is a really, really good little bypass loop that's currently sitting redundant on my shelf. So it's going to get some new lease of life on this. And the main thing with this one is that, we can check out what the actual bypass of a pedal sounds like. Some pedals just don't have very good bypasses. If we can hear it on this, then you know that the pedal needs to be bypassed somehow other than its own switch. But also this ABs between its two loops that it's got in here. So we can do a really quick A-B of two different types of pedal. And that'd be really, really useful. Underneath here, we've got a pedal power, a Voodoo Lab pedal power 4x4. This is a really, really, really good professional isolated power supply. So when I'm running stuff through here, I'm intending that it's going to be focused on the pedals. I'm not going to talk too much over stuff so you can hear the sounds. But hopefully the setup I've got here means that the pedals will sound at their best. You get a real true reflection of what they sound like. So there's going to be quite a few reviews of this, and hopefully that'll keep us going for a bit longer. In the meantime, stay safe. Whatever the guidelines are at the moment, try and stick to them, because we're still going through a pandemic at the moment, and we all want to stay safe and get back to normal as soon as possible. There's a load of rubbish going on out in the world at the moment, and I can't claim to be any sort of spokesperson on that. I'm trying to do something with this music to keep this rolling. And for me, music is the universal language. So, let's all enjoy what we can do, and let's just all work together and try and move forward into a good future. I'll see you next time, and until then, cheerio.